This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agents, your live weekend market review, Friday, September 15, 2023. Amazing week. Awesome week. Basically expected chop and then nailed the flop Friday. We're going to talk about why. I'm going to do the live chat, the full market review as a recording within this, but I wanted to open up to questions before I get started, and then also probably stick around for a few questions afterwards. I know it's Friday afternoon, but just figure I'd get this party started, the recap started, and just get the information out there for you guys, because we have a decently busy week next week, as you might imagine. We have a Fed meeting, and we'll talk all about all of that here shortly. But I just wanted to make sure anyone had any questions before we really dug into it. If you do, leave a comment below. Discord room, hit me up. I know there's probably not going to be a lot of people here on a Friday. I expect that. However, I do see my boy T-Wire, which is cool. A lot of y'all probably checking out. I mean, if you, as I said last night and yesterday afternoon in the Discord room, and even posted, I thought all week the Thursday afternoon probably would be the best opportunity for shorting in the last retest of the chop. Ended up being the case. Are we surprised? No, we're not. I mean, that's usually the last possible moment for such, but that is what it is. So, again, I appreciate all the love, support. Again, the generous donations. What's up, Jordan? You guys are awesome, man. Again, I mean, the student's ready, the teacher appears. Education, I give it away for free. So if you're making money and you want to chip some off because of the insights being next level, because again, I've been trading for 25 years. I have journals of trading for what seems like forever. I have an elephant like a memory, or a memory like an elephant. I'm an elephant, mate. And I literally try to do the best I can with the information I have to give you guys insights. It's not as obvious as just always technicals. You know, it's the seasonality, it's the understanding of the way the market mechanisms work within trends. When trends flip, who told you the first dip would get bought, and then after that it was short city? Well, guess what? It took a little while. But once it was ready, I think we're going to go waterfall. So on that note, anyone have any questions? Or I'm going to start the recording. Go jump through do the typical hoops. If you have a question about a particular stock, hit me up as I'm going through it. If not, we will chat afterwards at the end. If not, forever hold your peace. Let's do the damn thing. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your weekend market review for Friday, September 15th, 2023. Hopefully you had a great week. OpEx, ChopEx, baby. We nailed it. We knew there was going to be some up. We knew there was going to be down. We knew there was going to be some chop, but we also knew at the end of the week, if the VIX got down to 13, even 12s, and the VIX filled its gap, and the market complacency was rising, you knew there was an opportunity for short, because the information and the data, everything coming out this week, bad. In my opinion, China has to drop I don't know how many billions of dollars or yuan into their markets to stabilize them. Boom, lost all in a day. Things are not good. Let's just see how they play out. Again, anticipating such. If you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Discord room, if you want to join it, link in the description below. Please follow on YouTube if you're not watching on YouTube. I'm telling you, tons of videos from fly fishing, real estate, and back to basics. Get your notifications when we do these live chats. Also hit me up on, I don't know why I don't have this here, but I do post a ton on Twitter. A lot. Was laughing at folks today who are just honestly just boggling my mind with their like, oh, the pin action yesterday, you can't go down. I'm like, you don't know what you were talking about. Because if you don't know, once the market makers clear all the puts out during quad witching OPEX, they're literally just loaded with puts. Do you think they want to support the market at the point they own all the puts? Hell effing no. Check out our website, thetradingagent.com. Get the markets account 5.3%. Also, too, if you're worried about your broker falling, going under, kind of like I've been, I've got some Schwab. Moving over to Interactive Brokers, here's a link. Use the link to get a referral bonus. Well worth it. I mean, most brokerages won't give you crap for moving your money over there, so it's better than nothing. But honestly, the platform's good. I never had a problem there. I had a smaller account there for a long period of time. It was one of my old options accounts that obviously sometimes they blow up. I've had that, but I kept my interactive brokers, moved more money over there. Never had a problem with them. Love it. Hit me up if you have any questions about any of this stuff. Again, Calendly link if you want to talk for 30 minutes. I don't get why more people don't take time. If you really need some help, don't be a beep, 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 beep. Don't be scared. Literally, do not be scared to take some time. Ask questions. So, CME Watch Tool, 97%. Did we go up after today? I mean, I didn't refresh this today because it's basically a lock next week that it's a pause. 99.9%. I'm amazed. And again, raise your hand if you're following because I'm also doing this live. How many people have gone, well, the Feds are potentially raising rates next week? No, they're not. It's not happening. Bitcoin. We've talked about it. Chopping around, holding support. Keep an eye on it. Oil. People, again, I'm amazed. People, it's like, I'm saying short oil service. Don't short oil. Oil service is leading oil, but doesn't necessarily mean that oil will peak. We've talked about this with gold, any material. The service names, the drillers, the exploration names lead the commodity. Could oil hit our 50% fib? Maybe. And we'll get into oil names because that's one of my favorite shorts here. The oil names, not oil, not yet. But keep an eye on this stuff. Natural gas, dead money. Dead. Dollar. And again, I'll get into the XLE and all this stuff at the end. And we'll do some more free chat. I promise you, Brian. Good question, because again, a lot of this stuff is so juicy. Dollar said, don't really have any expectations other than higher dollar. But one of the things that we talked about was the volatility in the dollar. Dollar's holding up. Everyone goes, oh, the dollar's going to end. Well, the dollar's not going to end if other currencies and other world economies are dog shit. Keep that in mind. TLT said, watch the 92 range retest. You got it. You filled the gap. Now, if you want to buy bonds for defensive, I understand. Like anything else, if this is a retest of a low and a chop top or a chop bottom, define your risk. Makes sense to me. VIX. How many people yesterday at the close, were just like, I'm scared to short? Raise your hand. I mean, don't be scared, because there's a lot of people in the Discord room and just in general that constantly DM me and they go, did you see the market? I think it's going to 4,600. I think the SPY's going to get to 460. I think the Q's got to get to 4. I'm like, I'm amazed how you start moving your upside targets when the market literally is hitting maximum potential complacency. Look at the VIX. Look at today's action. Bada boom, bada bing. Didn't we talk about the VIVIX? Again, leave a comment below if you want a super chat for confirmation. I mean, sometimes it's that effing easy. Fills the gap. I'm telling you, if you don't have a trading journal, some sort of trading journal, take notes. What are the things that you're looking for? Remind yourself. If all you're trying to do all the time is remember everything and trade on the seat of your pants, you are not going to be able to remember everything. And then emotions take over. It's a whole other subject. What did we say yesterday in yesterday's review? Is this a novice gap? Well, holy crap. It's a novice gap, island floating, reversal, eat everything back, give back all the week's action and more, close below the 20-day. And a lot of people are like, oh, I think I should take profits today. I'm like, again, you can't go broke taking profits. But if this is the first, remember we talked about the first dip gets bought. Now you're making a lower high. Oh, man, this could turn into Waterfall City, y'all. And especially the seasonality. Go check out the Stock Traders Almanac. What you got next week? You got a bull day on Monday. That's usually kind of a reprieve day after potentially an OPEX. But then you got burn into the end of the month. I mean, you've got 4 bearish days, 1 bullish day. But in general, the end of September can be pretty crappy. Q. Look at this. We talked about the trend line. Closed at the 20-day. I mean, again, if this breaks below the 20-day, I mean, you're coming back down. Minimum. But you have to remember, the lower high, you have to understand, people who are trend traders go, oh, crap, a lower high? Game over. That's literally all they're waiting for. Some big money just trades like that. That's all they do. And at the bottom, they look for a higher low. IWM, we talked about lagging. Look at this thing. It's basically on life support, about to dump off the right edge. DIA, we talked about getting stuck at 350. Gold rallied today and literally closed at the low of the day. It was still up, and I've tried to warn people. Again, it's just going to be choppy. If you like this kind of action, you like to be nervous, you like to be unsure of what the hell is going on, trade gold and silver. Enjoy it. You will thoroughly lose your mind because there's going to be things that are going to be going in directions that you're like, that makes sense. And then you're going to look at these charts and you go, what happened? Silver, Because again, people think it's defensive. Remember, the best time to buy metals, oil, gas, in my opinion, will be when the Feds pivot, because that's always been the time before. If it changes now because the Feds do something that they've never done before, I could be wrong. Silver, again, some people talked about it being oversold. Again, it makes sense. Look at it. Range lows, bounce. But do you really trust that it's going to go higher? Because there are better trades out there to short. GDX, not surprised. Little bounce. Again, people looking for a little bit of protection. But here's the thing they don't realize is that when there's credit issues, when the market dumps, the VIX goes nuts, these companies are crappily run. They have credit risk. They can't get to the market. They have issues. I mean, it's like every other company. It's a company. And they're not well run. And they usually have tons of debt. GDXJ, I mean, again, not surprised they bounced. It's just, again, you only have so much money to spend. Do you want to spend it on the miners? I mean, again, if you want to buy down here and you think there's a little trade in it, go right ahead. I just think there's been way juicier shorts. Like Juicy J. This stuff, chop around. Because again, if you go and study the past, one of the best times to buy this stuff is when what? Absolutely destroyed. VIX spikes, market dumps, gold goes all over the place, and then what? Oh, I will buy these things on a significant discount. Newmont, we talked about it holding down here. Little W said it. I mean, what's the upside? Maybe this, maybe this area. I don't know. You do you, boo. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what you think, take it, I guess. I don't know. Again, it's like, it's like someone, if Scott's listening, it's like, hey, I'm going to trade Walgreens. It's like, dude, Walgreens? Are you kidding? There's like some incredibly juicy shorts. Miners pass, look on it. All right, Taiwan Semi. Adios. Oh, man, we are so close to taking out the lows. It's just a matter of time. If you shorted Micron up in the upper 71, 72 range, high five. High five to you. Slapsticks. Yes. Look at that. Novice Gap, Doji, kapow. AM Dizzle. We talked about this rising up to the 50-day, potentially flopping at some point. Oh, boy. I mean, you can see what's going to happen here. I mean, think about it again. Don't think about what your position is. Think about how people position in the market. If you bought this stock on this gap up thinking all this great news, and then you've been watching it for the last 3 months, you're going, oh, shit, did I buy the high? NVIDIA, let's keep this going. Same thing. This is, oh, crap, did I buy the high? Yeah, waterfall be a coming. Intel, nailed it. Literally, 40s. Ding, 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 ding. Congrats. Again, high five. Leave comments below. If you're not taking these trades, I want to know. Because then I can help you make sure, again, if I'm posting charts on it, I know people will expect to hear from, or at worst, alert them, especially because I care. I genuinely do care. SMH, we talked about this. Professional gap sideways for 5 days. 6 days. Oh, it's broken. It's going higher. Sorry for my excessive language and loudness. Adobe. Earnings, we talked about hitting the 1.618. Adios. Apple, how many times does it have to fill the gap? Never. These gaps could just be here for a long time, my friends. Today's action, high volume, OPEX, not surprised. Quad witching, choppy. I mean, again, some names held, some games flopped, but overall market was down. Amazon, you're welcome. Said, oh, give me that 145. 75. Doji, boom, gap takes out. Looks like a left-right combo to me. Witchies. CRM, we said short 220s plus on the gap after earnings. It's looking solid. Guggenheim, I know some people shorted. Patience. I think this one's going to go. I mean, it's all going to go. It's just a matter of when. Meta, we talked about, could it get up here? No. I mean, at any point on this pop, it's hard to know exactly where the best place is. But look at that action. Open high, close lows, take out the last 5 days. How friendly of the market makers just to pull the freaking rug. Same thing with your friend Microsoft. We talk about, what's the exact spot? But at some point, it's a short. NDAQ, breaking trend. Goodbye. I mean, if you want to, this one's like, and now again, I know it's not like a monster stock where you might make like 30 or 40 points, but I mean, trend breaks here. You're coming back to 46. I mean, you could buy some probably cheap options. I mean, you could see this thing back at the 40 level, maybe even 435s. MicroStrategy, as we've said, no. You're not going anywhere. Stuck to the 100-day. Netflix and chill. Yeah, Netflix and spill, mother. Beep, beep. Again, leave a comment because these are trades we posted. We talked about watching the 450 retest. I mean, what'd you get to? 453. Dan, you idiot. I shorted at 450, had way too tight of a stop, and then, no, again, wild stocks have wicks. They just have wicks. Roblox, we talked about this one. It's no man's land. We expected the pop. It's chopping around. Good old Tesla. Now, you got to give Tesla a little credit for where it's due. But, man, it is just banging up here against the trend line. Choppy action. Again, it's just a matter of when, not if it fails. X, chopping, potential buyout. Nucor, we talked about this being dangerous. And then here comes a guy down. Oh! Takes it all away. Take it all. 200-day, awesome, high volume, kapow. Caterpillar, choppy, sloppy, toppy. M-top, trying to break the 20-day. Really trying to play games here. It's just probably a matter of, it's not a matter if, it's just when. Give yourself time if you're short. My friend Danny, if you got next week's options, be careful. VALE popped. Again, a lot of these names popped on like the China stuff. Giving it all back. Arrow, hold it up pretty well, but this thing's been just dirt. CCJ, today could be the top. OPEX, TOPEX, look at that candle. If that isn't, is that just, I mean, would you just call, I mean, why don't I just put a red head on that? And that's what it looks like, right? It's just a pointing lower. We'll see. CF, again, we love ag names long-term on dips. Chopping around, let them breathe. They popped on the China stuff. Let them come on down. Come on down, y'all. See? NTR, same thing. Chop. Alcoa should be on fire. It's just the dead money. XLF, got to give it credit, holding up. Higher interest rates people are talking about, but then here you go. Look at that candle. Looks like a hammer. JP Morgan, again, if you shorted these names on the pop, makes sense. I don't know how much higher they can go near term, but they do have earnings coming up. Just keep that in mind. I think 2 weeks. Morgan Stanley, this looks lovely up here. I mean, let me do the little intra-fibby. I'd be curious just to see what we're at. Yeah, we failed at the 50 fib. I mean, could you get to 618? Fill the gap. I mean, it's always possible, but that's one I'd keep on your list if you want to get in the short dance on financials. Goldman Sachs. You know, like, again, this is like over squeeze, just rally, get everyone to think things bullish, and then what do you do? The pull, the plug. We'll see what happens. Again, I mean, KRE all week has nothing. Whole lot of nothing. Chop. I mean, do I even need to open it up? Going nowhere fast. XBI, another name that usually when risk is on is looking good. This thing has been lagging. Spill all week. I mean, that's not good. Not spill all week, but ended down. Transports, we've talked about transports leading. Have you looked lately? They've been down at the lows. Look like they're about to eat, you know what? XHB, home builders, they got issues. Lower highs, lower lows. I mean, I think that's a good no-brainer, right? No-brainer. Materials, right? Check this out, right? Pow. They all look like they're, you know, they all kind of look like they got issues, y'all. Oh, Jordan, I just got your donation, man. Thank you very much, man. I mean, again, every dollar to me, it depends on your account size, how well you're doing. I appreciate it. Because, again, if the roles were reversed, I've always was very thankful for anyone who's given me free, legitimate information. Because, again, it doesn't matter. I'm doing these trades. I'm telling you guys what I'm doing. Appreciate that, man. Very solid. It just popped up in my inbox. TAN, solar. Again, we talked about these are just biding time. Yeah, I did call the action this week. I've done a lot of options expirations. Let's just say it there. And I've felt the frustration before. I've literally been frustrated by it 1,000 times. ENPH, we talked about these names. I mean, just like any pop. But they're just really tight action. They're really hard to know. They might be waiting on something really shitty. Here you go. Flop. I mean, these names. First Solar. I mean, we know the range lows. If it breaks that 170, and if you are looking to short it, you're loving these bounces. But I would look for a more of aggressive bounce. All right, let's end it with the oil names and then get into, I'll just open it up for free chat. Yeah, been on fire. What are you going to say? I mean, 90s, straight line move. You think the feds are going, oh, yeah, everything's great. UNG, again, natural gas has not followed at all. Been the dead money. You're welcome, XOP. One of your, you got that drip, bro? You got that drip? Whatever the kids say. You got that drip? We talked about watching the 154 area. Professional gap, nice close. Again, oil service will lead oil names, but doesn't mean oil has to top today or tomorrow. It just at some point. Exxon Mobil. Here you go. Hitting the range highs, monthly channels. I mean, again, volume because of OPEX. Keep in mind, if you see high volume today when you're going through the candles, remember there is some position squaring because of options expiration, the quad witching, right? Think about it. Some people have to buy stock to put call, why is my brain not working? They have to exercise the options. Exercise the demons. Occidental. Here you go, coming up. I mean, and this is the thing. We must be close to a top in these names because I'm getting a lot of hate. Like, oil's the only place. You see inflation? I'm like, yeah, you reading the headlines? Yeah, you're reading the headlines. Tell me more about the headlines. Yeah, what are the headlines telling you? Buy oil and gas? Okay, short it. We'll see what happens. PXD, another one that's been lagging. I like that. EQT and Flex LNG, and then we'll just open it up. EQT, we said this has been looking like crap. Well, it's about to drop. Flex getting back under the 30 level. Let it all breathe. I mean, this thing has an 8% dividend. I'd love to see this in the 23 range, 22 range. All right, I appreciate all the love, support, the generous donations. Again, when the student's ready to teach your peers, like if you need help, join the Discord room. If you have questions, you're not in the Discord room, hit me up. Use the Calendly link. There's people who've been in and out. And again, I don't hold grudges against people. I understand, like, in trading, you will realize a lot of this is psychological because when you're wrong, how do you admit you're wrong? And when you're right, do you stick to your rightness? So either way, always keep in touch if you have any questions. And again, I don't need to jump into real estate, but the real estate market is slowing. If you're looking to buy a house, holy crap, get ready. Please get ready. Put your cash aside. Be thoughtful because interest rates could spike lower and people just start jumping off roofs to sell their house. If you are trying to sell your house, now you need a good strategy. Selling it and prioritizing how you do such is key because you got to make it look special. You got to do all the things. Work with an experienced agent. Give me a call. Reach out. Let me help you out. Let me see if I can get your house sold with another agent. You'll get 2 for 1 because, again, I do referrals all over the country. I really enjoy that because, again, there's every house. To get the most amount of money, you have to know how to identify what makes it special and market the shit out of it. Because there's going to be someone out there that might be 5 or 10 people who are like, oh, wow, it has the most amazing yard, has the most amazing setup. And again, if you don't get a good agent, they just throw it on the MLS and then it just sells at market price or they don't show it right. I mean, you could lose tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars by choosing the wrong person. I'm telling you, it's that big of a deal. All right, let's keep it going. Recording's ending. Talk to you guys and gals later. All right, what's up? What do we got? What'd it be, yo? Posted chart discount. What have been so on MNRA bottoming? Yeah, COVID's increasing. COVID is increasing. Yes. I mean, we're going into election year. We're going into an election year. So, yes, it almost seems like every election year, what do you find? Wow, a pandemic. How convenient. How convenient. MNRA. We can go through that one. That's an interesting one. Oh. Bonus, when you're looking at ExxonMobil and Oxy volume, do remember it is options expiration, quad witching, OPEX. There's a lot of option exercising. Exercise the demons. Where there's going to be times where there's a lot of volume that has to be squared off at the close. All right, so MNRA. This would be strictly kind of like a buy the rumor, sell the news. Oh, what is it? What's the typical? mRNA? Yes, thank you. Wow, I didn't realize it was down to here. Oh, wow. Remember, who's in the Discord room or who's been following when I said this thing was like one of the most obvious shorts ever? Sorry, I didn't check it in the main chat, Coop. I was checking I had on the friends trading chat. But y'all remember this? It was like, this thing's a joke. This is actually an interesting chart. I got to give you credit, man. I like the big basing pattern. We know COVID, do we know COVID's coming? We know it's going to be winter. And so spikes in flu, cold, not allergies, I guess, but you know what I mean. Yeah, this makes sense here. And it's just holding up today. It's interesting. I mean, again, I'm not really looking at longs. I mean, it's like, Walgreens to me is a absolute turd. But this makes sense. I mean, it's going to get some headline support. I mean, you've got some volume building down here. Let me pull up some of the monthly charts. Just curious. Okay, you got tight action on the monthly. Yeah, you've got very, very, very specific, like, you got this bottom down here. Yeah, I mean, this zone makes sense. The longer it chops, and so, Coop, take note of this because you've been around. You got to love when you have a range, you break below it, and then you come back, right? Like, pretend this is the bear trap right here. Like, just this in itself is the bear trap. Get everyone to go, oh, God, it's breaking below, what's been considered, I don't know. Again, let's draw a box of support. So everybody's pretending that this has been support, right? You break below that, this is the bear trap. This is the kind of stuff I look for in gold. Silver, miners, like they'll absolutely like just be jump, then there'll be a big reference point. You look way to the left. You'll look on the monthly or the weekly. You'll go, oh. And then it'll go right below it. The volume will pick up. People will literally be going, the world's ending. Gold's worthless. People are using Bitcoin. People are using poop coin, Dogecoin, Jazz coin, whatever and that's, yeah. I like it, man. I dig it. I really dig it. I mean, again, today's action, it's a little hard during OPEX to know. But, I mean, you got to call this a professional gap, right? Like, this feels like a professional gap. And you close down, and here's the thing that you got to keep an eye on with professional gaps, right? Like, you and I are just talking. If you gap up, and then you have a 2-day range, and then somebody was like, even though the stock dropped, it had the thrust to clear all the bad news the last couple days. So, I mean, to me, it's showing a massive amount of relative strength. So I dig it. Yeah, threw on the 115, 125 spread for October. Those levels seem to make sense. Yeah, oh, absolutely, 125. I mean, you could even if you had some I don't know how. I feel like MNRA has very expensive options because the liquidity is not huge. Was it good selling? Yeah, 6 million shares. I feel like you could buy some like December 130s or something. I mean, something that's like $2 or $3, like a lottery ticket. Post it if you don't mind. Drop that in the Discord room. What that is, if you're got a chance. But I feel like you could do something like silly like that. If you want to buy some out of the money $2 or $3 calls and just go, all right, they're lottery tickets. And if disease picks up going into the winter, which it always does, you could have a monster here. And I mean, monster's relative. I mean, is it going back to 400? The December 130s are 5.4. Okay. I mean, we're going back to 400. Probably not. Could we get on a rocket ship to maybe like 2? Could we get through the top of the VAP range, 180? I mean, I've thrown more money at stupid stuff, like that. And again, you don't have to lose all your money if you buy December 130s. I mean, you could always say if they get cut in half. Someone's saying they're 5.4. Thanks, Brian. Very, very interesting. Got to give you again. This is your trade, man. Again, when people give me trades, I never take credit for it. Guys that know me, if someone's post shows me something, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, I got this trade. I wouldn't spread that in case it takes off. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, I mean, call me crazy, but if the VIX spikes at all and you could sell puts on MNRA to buy calls, that might be the play. I mean, a lot of people don't like to do that, but I do. I mean, if you know this thing's not going to dump, I mean, you sell the 100 puts to buy the 125 call. I mean, you pick the spread amount, but it's like, man, you can basically pay for those calls, and if it goes, it goes. Say you sell some September 1, and if you really want to get big ballsy, you sell some October 120 puts and buy those 130 calls in December or January. That could be very, very interesting. Very interesting. Cool trade. I appreciate you guys. Again, this is supposed to be interactive. That's why I love the Discord room. I love the family of traders that are learning and growing from this. Because, again, once you start seeing the market through the mindset of the market makers and you have this understanding of the news and, you understand the rules of the game, I am all for teaching people how to do this. And then one day you feed me that trade, I take it. I will be sending you a donation. I promise you that. Yeah, spreads definitely help reduce the trade costs. Yeah, good point. Just a way to reduce risk outlay. Was thinking of selling some downside puts, but held off in the event market rules. I think that's the best thing you're thinking right there, Jordan, is that if you can get some of the put premium and applied volatility in the market popping, it's really hard to sell puts when the VIX is at 12 or 13. I don't care what it is. We all not agree? Like I don't really feel comfortable selling puts at 13. Just call me crazy. Right? Oh, crap. Wrong button. I think short term it hits there. Yeah, I mean it could chop. But I mean I think you nailed it. I really do think that you're gonna see more of the COVID stuff pop up. I mean, again, I don't want to get political, but I mean, it's how they basically. Did anyone see how many mail-in ballots came in? And so this is an interesting fact. And again, this is not political. This is a fact. Donald Trump won every state in-person voting. Every state, all 50 states. Joe Biden won all 50 states in mail-in votes. That is peculiar. Would we not say it? We agree? Again, I don't want to be a conspiracy theory, but that's the facts. I was like, when I heard that, I was like, and I saw that, I was like, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense to me. So, any other questions? I think short term it hits it. Yeah, I mean, again, yeah. The 125. I mean, I don't know. There's a big VAP zone here at 125. Right? Like that 125, I mean, that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. 1 second. Anyone else have any amazing insights? That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. That's again, because I mean, it's not as much. I mean, I don't know. Again, people get so butthurt about talking about politics. It's like, can we just be honest? It's not about your team, my team. Shorted Apple at the close. Let's look at that real quick. Let's pull up the fruit. This is the fruit. At the close, let me look at the, just curious to see what the 10-minute did. Looks like you have some position squaring. I mean, you should get continuation on Monday. Let's just call it what it is. I think the thing that's just always hard, and I did the same thing. I shorted Caterpillar on a pop to 279, and I said if it closes at 280, I'll be mad. But I do anticipate more down coming, if that makes sense. But at this point, shorting Apple here. I mean, it's just a matter of when, not if. I just hope you have time. It's based on the weekly EMAs. Okay, yeah. I mean, let's look at the weeklies. Weekly Apple. I mean, this is the dead cat bounce that should lead to lower lows, right? I mean, people are really ignoring the China stuff, and then people are really overhyping the iPhone 15. I mean, I'm sorry, but does anyone really want to trade up for that? Is anyone else here buying an iPhone 15? Because I'm not. I mean, my 14 works just fine. It's 1 gram lighter, some nicer little features, but overall, like, no one's buying. I mean, if anything, they're probably going to sell a shit ton of 14s and be able to knock off that inventory going into the holidays. But nobody's buying a 15. But conveniently, notice how all of a sudden your iPhone will start getting glitches and acting funny. I've noticed that when they have a new big hyped release, the older phones just seem to stop working so well. Why is that? Golly gee. All right, any more questions? Again, I appreciate all of the interactions, y'all. I mean, again, like, you guys bring in the good stuff. Bring in the good stuff. The people that pay attention, the people in the Discord room, again, sometimes we don't want to agree, but some people are just way too emotional. I can't deal with them because I'm like, you're not trading off of evidence. You're trading off feelings and gut feelings. I might tell you what I think the market's going to do because of repeating patterns, because I've been trading the market for so damn long. It's different than like, oh, I think the Apple gap has to fill. I'm like, I don't know, man. I've seen gap downs. If it's a professional gap, it doesn't fill. I got a question. Google may have asked a similar question, but we're right down. Google holding up well relative to you stay away from it. So that's a good question. However, if you do, oh wow. Again, here is your answer. If you do believe in the Guggenheim short, because I did, but I got stopped out. I mean, that's the name of the game. I went after Amazon. I call this riding the lightning, where you ride the upper channel bound. Yes, it is holding up relative strength, but do you trust it? No, it's part of the market. I mean, what did it do last year? What did it do? It went from 151 all the way down to 83. So it is not immune from pain. Yeah, I mean, it happens, man. It doesn't, I don't know why it's holding up. I don't think they're doing anything special. Let me just redraw this fibby. Because I love when you can draw fibs in the like support resistance lineup like perfectly. Oops. Okay, not bad. I mean, it's one of those things where if you expect the market to go down, the VIX is at 12 going to 13, and then at some point the market does pull back. Is this leading and holding up? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I saw your fibs on Amazon, bro. Those were tight. Again, that's another thing people never understood. I'm like, if the market's run by computers, it's amazing. When the move is done, the fibs line up sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes. It's interesting. Well, skits, the first problem is you own UVX calls. If you don't know this, and I will give you my number one all-time easiest trade of all time ever, always UVXY. It's never to buy calls. It's to short it on any and all major pops, big ones. Like if you get like a 2020 pop in this, I mean, again, if you got your calls, I hope they work out. But just keep in mind, like the UVXY is a product you do not buy calls on. You just don't. Now, could it pop? If you get the big pop, you will get the reward. But I look at UVX calls always as lottery tickets. The UVXY is a lottery. It's literally a lottery ticket. It just sucks because the market can go down and volatility can get sucked out, and these things can go nowhere. And the UVX XY will go nowhere. Someone who's traded these volatility products for as long as they've been around, the easiest trade is if the VIX spikes to 50, you short it. You short it with grand amounts of money and just be patient because this thing will burn. It always burns. I mean, it literally always burns. You want to get rich? That's one of the easier trades. Any and all. Any and all. Any and all. That makes sense? Sorry, just getting a text. Man, if you guys knew what was going on in my personal life, you'd be laughing right now. This guy doesn't, we don't lose in the long run. Never lose. Don't lose. Everything is a win if you can reframe it and learn from it. Just like in our marital relations. The script has flipped. Skill, knowledge, willingness to study, learn, grow, admit mistakes. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Kind of happy about it. We'll see how things turn out. That's the skits, but does that make sense? Like, you got to be very careful with UVXY calls. I mean, the question is, how much time do you have? Can you type that in? Because that's a question. Because it makes sense. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's a terrible idea. No, I mean, the VIX at 12, 13. Yeah, I mean, that's to me a no-brainer. At some point, volatility will pick up. What was the last time? It went from 15 up to 21. Okay. I mean, this thing could go from 13. I mean, honestly, the best time to buy these is after a reverse split. Did it reverse split? Yeah, it did a 1 for 10. Yeah, it did. No, it didn't really bounce as well. I reached its first peak in like 20 minutes later. I don't, again, I'm going to be very thoughtful here, and I don't know you as well, but I'm just telling you, man, as somebody who's traded these products, UVXY calls, I'd sell them. I mean, honestly, I probably should start, and y'all would laugh at this, people are still listening. I could literally start a managed fund, and all we did was sell UVXY calls. That's all we did. And then we bought puts on every major spike, and like literally we may have done like, we might do like 2 or 3 trades a month, but that's all we would do is sell UVXY calls on every major bounce. And then we would buy puts on every monster VIX spike. Because you have to remember, this product is literally a daily instrument, but it's almost like every day it restarts at 0. That's what sucks about it. Again, if you read how this thing is priced, it's like, you know, like time decay on steroids. Like, yeah, you can get rich off of this, but then you're going to die. It's steroids. Like, let's just short the bodybuilder that's using them. Oh, you already sold them? All right. I mean, if you're playing weeklies, I mean, it makes sense. I commend you for the trade. I mean, I can't argue that wasn't right. I mean, we talked about the VIX was going to pop. I had them for 15 minutes. Nice. Okay. Well, if you made a couple $100, I like your hourly wage. I'm not going to argue with that. Man, if you made $1,000, then it's like, all right, Friday, free money Friday calls. I like that. You guys know I love Friday option plays when the premiums are like, you're not paying for time. No time. No time. Oh, got another donation. Who's that? Some of you guys are awesome, man. Again, I appreciate it. I'm really trying my damnedest to give you guys the best information. And it's free. No, never going to charge for this crap. And one day if I go into a platform where I charge, I always told people, like, the people who've been around, I will never, they can always hang out for free. If you've been with me from the beginning, no. It'll be like, and honestly, I've always said this, some of y'all know this, like if I ever had like the Discord room as a pay for service, I would rather have it where it'd be like everybody who is moderators, we'd all split the the cost for people to be in the room kind of thing. Because if you're spending the time and posting the trades and helping people out, I want people to feel like they're rewarded. Because there's gonna be times where I would like to go for vacation. I don't take many. I should be, and that's one of the reasons why I think my marriage did not had some tumultuous times over the last couple of years. Is I literally did not stop working. Maybe someone else in the Discord room is like, hey, man, I got you, dog. Cool skits. Any other questions? Posted redrawn fibs. Yeah, dude, I love that. I think Amazon is... I mean, because did this pop because of COVID? I mean, the problem is like, what does the average person have, like $300 in their savings? I really don't think they're going to let small businesses fail. They're going to try to make it look like, oh, we'll control the voting with COVID, but we have to support the businesses. I don't think they're going to let Amazon do what they did last time at Walmart. I think they realized that was like, I mean, you want to put everyone out of business and then also have backlash endlessly. Could be wrong. Again, these are just opinions, not facts. Any other questions? If not, I will let you guys run. I'm here for you guys. Any question? There's no dumb question. Actually, the dumber the question, the probably more funny it is on a Friday afternoon. Because if you didn't have a good week, explain to me why. Explain to me why. I think sometimes it's the hardest thing for people, right? Let's just talk about the scenario of like the SPY. No, sir, letting my shit run. Gotta quit over trading. No, I mean, this is the time to do it, right? The lower high. We talked about this as a novice gap yesterday, right? Like, do people remember this conversation? Like, do you not remember earlier in the week, I was like, man, there's going to be a day later in this week. And I said, probably Thursday afternoon. Got lucky. Like, again, it could have been Wednesday. Who the hell knows? That the market's going to pop. And that's going to be the time to short. Like, with reckless abandon. Like, now keep in mind, some stocks really didn't move this week other than down. So you didn't have amazing opportunities. Are novice gaps also the start of pro gaps, or is there some chop in between? All right, John Bob, good question. I have a video on that on my back to basic here. Let me, it's on my YouTube channel, also on the tradingagent.com. Novice gaps are gaps that end a move, where retail is jumping into. They usually are precipitated. Now, again, as like this chart, like there's just gaps you don't know. That looked like an island floating reversal, and then it went higher. And again, not all the time. It's more of extremes. That's where I kind of look for gaps. At extreme lows, at extreme highs. Novices, again, are usually selling at the lows and buying at the highs. Professional gaps are the start of the move gaps. So this is, to me, I thought it was the professional gap start of the move. And also keep in mind, when did it happen? First and last 3 business days of the month. Look for professional gaps and novice gaps during OpEx, top X, or bottom X. It can be bottom X too. Or first and last 3 business days of the month. Again, tons of videos in the Back to Basics series. Watch those videos first and last 3 business days of the month. Watch it on novice and professional gaps. When you can get them happening during those periods of time, they're a little more powerful. And so today's action, I mean, that looks like just a little baby island. We'll see what happens here. Now, again, like, could Monday rally a little bit and then flop later? I mean, who knows? But if this is a trend, now some people are, oh, it could be just chopping before it goes higher. Okay, fair. But if you think there's a bull market coming, I mean, did y'all see the Google searches for soft landing? Like, I thought that was really crazy. The amount of searches for soft landing, we're not hitting a soft landing, y'all. The feds are running this thing off the tracks, because they have to kill inflation. And now that oil's spiking again, they're going to look like they own it. So it's, again, and this is the honest truth. Go back and look. There's never been a time when the feds have navigated a soft landing once they have started raising interest rates significantly. Never, never, never. Never, never, ever. Soft landing? It's almost like soft joke. Ha ha on you. Got it? Good question, though. Novice guys always start the pro gaps. There's sometimes gaps in between. But again, I think the one thing that I tell people about gaps is look for them at extremes. Right? And sometimes the novice gaps have follow through. Sometimes the novice gaps have a couple days of chop. Like that's what's so hard about them. It's not, and that's the thing why I tell people, like, it's a probability-based game. If you're looking for absolutes and hard rules, like engineering, me and Eric were talking today, like, I should make a joke, like some sort of, I don't know, like knick-knack, and it's like, don't bring a ruler to trading. It would be like the most broken ruler ever with like mismeasurements and all sorts of, like, it would just look like complete piece of junk. You would never use a ruler, because that's the hardest thing, is like when you bring a ruler to trading and you expect exactness, it's like, oh man, there's just so many. Again, you could go to your favorite stock, but here, like, here's the panic gap, 3 gap trap, 1, 2, 3. Here's the pro gap, but then guess what? It came back, and then it did another pro gap after it started. If Coop is still listening, this is kind of what I was thinking with like mRNA. Like, it kind of bottoms, chops, and then it gaps to start the next move. Right? But then look, you had a couple days of chop, and then it went. Keep that in mind. Again, do that. I got to put that one in my. Put that in your pipe. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. I'm trying to talk like Bill Clinton. God, I know, Dan. Got to fill that gap. No, and that's the thing. Like, Apple. A lot of people were like DMing me going, and people on the board, the gap's got to fill. Only will short when I'm like, man, if the gap fills, great, but it doesn't have to. If this is a professional gap on Apple, it doesn't have to fill, and it didn't. If this is a professional gap on Apple, it doesn't have to fill. Get it? Got it? Good. All right, man. Love you guys. Again, this is fun, man. I appreciate the donations. Really, you guys. Like, it helps. Obviously, you can buy me off if you want, but it gives me more invigorated to help people out, because not only am I trading, it makes me want to give more insights and be more involved, because it's like, man, if people are really generating income from this and following, this is better than managing money. Because managing money, you collect 2% no matter what happens. You may be at 2 and 20, but the problem is that Everybody's questioning every single thing you do. Well, I saw this in the news. What do you think about this, Dan? You're managing my money. What do you think about this? It's a nothing burger. Talk to me in a week. Oh, the market's going to crash. Good. What do you mean good? We're positioned for it. Well, I don't like to short stocks because I think it's un-American. Then why am I managing your money? This is great. If you're doing great, great. Awesome. You give me a trade, awesome. I have nothing but love and trust and abundance in people. Again, you see the worst in people, you'll see the worst. You attract the worst. This is always supposed to be fun. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. You have a nice weekend too. This is supposed to be fun. This is a game. This isn't like sitting down at poker and thinking you're going to win every freaking hand. Like every flop's going to go in your favor. It's like going and playing blackjack and going, I mean, you can count cards and you can have all of the odds in your favor, but you still can lose. Like that's just the nature of the beast. You can get pocket aces and still lose. Like I try to have this analogy with people all the time. It's like, it's a game. If you get mad about the losses, then you also are not going to be humble about when you start winning. Because again, you're only as good as the last trade you're in. Don't believe your own hype. Hello, all I do is short. I mean, I like to short in bear markets too. I like to short downtrends. But I will hedge, Skits. If some of you guys who've been around, y'all know, like, we anticipated the first drop off the top gets bought. Always. It just always does. It's like the first bottom or the first higher bottom off the low. Like when you come off the low, there's going to be some sort of bottom. Like it's going to drop back again. Like you just don't V-oriented moves are so rare. But that's what everyone thinks is going to happen. And again, it's like everything in life. People don't realize what the reality of how most things work. They just base on emotions. But anytime you pull back, there's going to be a pop. Like, I mean, we even said that. And again, NVIDIA, I honestly didn't think they'd get it back to 500. But we saw this, and it was like, oh, they made one more higher high. And then and that's sometimes the odds. It's higher highs, a retest, or a lower high. But you can always expect that off the highs. Look at that trap. I mean, but that said game over, right? El partido está abierto, right? Is that how you say it in Spanish? It's over. It's a matter of if, not when, NVIDIA gets absolutely curb stomped. Can I say that? All right, let's hope it doesn't. Coop, if I'm reading your comments, if MRA doesn't work, dude, I'm not gonna blame you. I always tell people, like, do you think my goal is to give trades that people are gonna lose on? No, I'm gonna be wrong. But I love this. Like, this is a professional gap. The higher low, like that's awesome sauce. I mean, that's that's my favorite trade. Because there's going to be a bottom, right? We can pick bottoms. But we know there's always some sort of retest, right? I know. I like the joke too, man. I don't take this shit too serious. This is my favorite trade, bro. This is my favorite trade because there's going to be a retest of some sort. Maybe, even if it's wrong, it's wrong. Whatever, who gives a shit? It actually is closing over the 50-day, which has been, whoa, I just noticed that. Keep an eye on that. Man, it could go up, pop, chop. I love this because this is the professional gap. Like, this is like literally the textbook definition. Because you get professional gaps off the low to start the like really whole move, but that second pro gap is like somebody really knows something. They can't even hold back. And then you see volume, it's like yabba dabba doo. Like, that's pretty sweet, man. And so if anyone's watching this, give credit, Coop, if you see him. It's in the Discord room. If you take the trade, let him know. Again, I always like know when people are taking trades. Like, sometimes I'm like, people are so secretive. I'm like, all right. I'm like, I posted this. Anyone else taking the Caterpillar? Danny. I'll post something about Micron and only a few people. And I'm like, I would think these things are like no-brainer. Some of them. So, again, it's not like it's team thinking, but it's like, if we all see something that makes clear common sense, you got to remember so is everyone else. And that's sometimes a good thing, right? Like, if this looks like it's about to fail, if you bought the stock, you're going sell. I'll be Venmo requesting you when my lottos expire worthless. Yeah, no doubt. No, you can send it to me. I said buy the December 130s or something. That's on me. That was my trade. All right. I love it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate all the love and support, man. You don't be scared to reach out. If you need 20 or 30 minutes to tweak something, what are you thinking? Like, again, I'm not always right. No one's always going to be right. If you're looking for certainty in a probability game, you're being sold snake oil, right? Like, that's just the obvious thing. Like, lose weight fast and eat whatever you want. If you're one of those people, then you're probably also the one who's like, oh, get rich fast in the stock market. How do I do it? You probably watched this YouTube video, and at the beginning, it's like, I made $80,000 in the last year. Here's my account balance. This is how I do it. Make double your money in 30 days. Like, if you're clicking on those links, you're no different than probably people who are like 8-minute abs. Well, what's even better? 7-minute abs. Oh, guess what? Here's a diet. Lose weight fast forever. You can't fight calorie intake, fat fuck. Excuse my language. No, I've seen the ads on my recaps. They're hilarious. I'm like, I kind of want to like leave a comment below and be like, stop your ads. I want to be like, if you're watching my video and you see this ad in your feed, don't do it. Never. Leave it alone. All right, folks. Oh, pre-order Apple Watch 9 and save $164 with qualified trade-ins. Wow. I'm looking at, here's another Apple discount. I mean, this phone ain't gone on sale yet, and they're asking to buy back your phone for $100 or your watch for $160 or less. Wow. They must not got a lot of orders for these new Apple Watches. All right, man, this is too fun. Again, I could go on forever, but I'm going to let it go. You guys have a great evening. Hit me up. Watch some football this weekend. Eagles looked good last night. Y'all know I'm an Eagles fan. Jay Solstice hoping for the Phillies to start rocking with my man Trey Turner. All right, peace out, y'all.